Welcome back to our channel, Babo Homestead. We are documenting projects around the property. We have some prior videos, so be sure to check those out. But we're going to give you a quick rundown of some of the projects we got going and some of the future projects that are coming up. So we'll start here at the well. This is our well, a 2 pressure tank system for the house. And it runs off of residential power. So one of the next projects we're going to do is we're going to have to dig a trench over to the pasture there, and we're going to do some of it with our DIY trenching implement, and be sure to check out that video, and then we'll add some more footage of that working here. So let's go over here and show you what we got going on over here. Okay, so the trench will come through here, and we'll do this part with the tractor, but then we're going to have to do this by hand, the big trench here, midway to the fence, and then we're going to have 2 plots right here. And I think I'm going to plant fescue grass here, and then this is for the goats and the horses to graze on rotationally. So we have about maybe just under an acre fenced. And then we want to do a bunch of rotational grazing in here, because if they're in a spot for too long, the compaction gets too bad and nothing will grow. And it's not level, so I've been leveling out. Brought some dirt in. I had to burn a bunch of branches, which actually made some nice biochar, if you can see right there. We'll spread that out. And like I said, we'll plant fescue, I think, in here, unless I change my mind. We'll hit the other pastures over in a little bit. Let's go over here and check out the fruit orchard. And we have a irrigation project going on there. Real quick, I want to talk about these fences we've set up. These are temporary. We had a problem with deer eating all our trees. For 2 years they didn't touch the trees, and then they figured out they could eat them, and they killed several last year. So I had to come up with a quick solution, so I just got these cattle panels, and then had to just put this wire up higher. Again, this is not permanent. I don't like the way it looks, but it works for now. Let's come on through here. And my philosophy with the fences is, when we started on this property, it was just bare land, and I just didn't want to put fences everywhere, so I had to go through gates everywhere I went. And so these temporary fences, if they're working good and I want them there, then eventually I'll put a permanent fence in there. But a lot of these fences will probably be taken down. This is how we used to water our fruit trees here, and I really like this timer. It's just, it finally froze after 2 years. One of the little solenoid valves froze and it leaks. So what we're doing, since this one froze, we are gonna go underground with a different kind of timer, and I think it'll be in a valve box right there. So we'll have to tie into this line down here. It's a little covered right now. I wasn't sure if it was going to freeze last night, but we'll tie in right there. Whoa. And then we already got the drip hoses right here that we'll be able to tie into. Again, those will be battery operated timers. And then there's 4 rows for the orchard. These are apricots. These are peaches, and a pear on the end that's just struggling. Pears don't do good right here. You can see the orchard has peach trees are blooming. They're starting. These peach trees are cool because these are for my grandpa. He had peaches fall from his tree. He rototilled them in the ground, and little shoots came up. Those are coming in. And then this row is apples. This apple's always been good. It kind of overgrew too much last year, got out of hand, but I didn't want to trim too much back yet. Still a young tree. So, real quick, another cool thing are these apples. This is an apple and this is an apple. I think they're Granny Smith apples. They're also from my grandpa, who had apples fall from the tree, and then his garden is kind of under the trees. Rototilled it in, and these shoots came up, and actually all the store-bought trees I bought haven't done that well except for that one, but my grandpa's trees have done real well because they're somewhat native to this area. So let's move on over to the pecan orchard. We'll start here with how we water this. This has an underwater line coming in right here, and we used to have the same timer over there, but that one froze, and so right now I got this one on here. We're probably done with freezes, but I'll leave this on for a couple of weeks. And we got 2 lines going out, and we have 20 pecan trees planted. So been trial and error with the pecan trees. I've bought a lot of pecan trees, and a lot of them haven't made it, and for several reasons. Number one, the clay soil we have here, probably drowning them, and then our freezes. We have pretty hard freezes here. We're in southern Arizona, but the freezes were real rough and killed some of the trees. But every one I planted last year, that's came from a nursery locally, have made it. So one tip would be, if you're going to do nut trees or fruit trees, get them from a nursery who planted seed there, or grew them there in your same area, your native area. So that seems to help. Okay, we'll go over to the solar panel. We also got the solar panel system, and this has been crucial to watering our pastures. So simple, we got solar panels in the control box, and then this is a heavy duty pole I used I think 8 bags of concrete, and then it has a conduit line over to the well. Electric comes into here, goes down in the well, and then here the well, if you check out another one of our videos, we did a Coke bottle test, and that gave us the water depth and then the well depth. And we have water at, I think it was 35-40 feet, and then the well is 160 feet deep. And so this solar panel line is only down, I think, 50 feet, around there. Okay, so that's the well, and then the water runs through the rancher pipe and underground, and there's also a trenching video that we'll post on that. And but before we go over there, so I had the fence built, and then deer were jumping over and eating all the trees, and I didn't like having each tree individually caged because it was really hard to weed and to take care of the trees that way. So I decided just to high fence the whole orchard. Not completely done, but the deer seem, they don't jump the gates for some reason. But I had to do this high fence system, so I had to just buy higher T-posts and put them in between the shorter T-posts. And then the solution I came up with was, in these hollow pipes I hadn't filled up with concrete yet, I put in T-posts. And that seems to be working, and that project turned out pretty nice, and nice tight fence. So on the east fence, it comes up to these wood posts, like telephone posts. I used what I got, not the prettiest. I'll probably saw those tops off, make it look better. Then again, we have our temporary fence. I don't know if I'm going to extend this orchard or not. So right now I just have a temporary fence up. If I decide to put a permanent fence, then I can just take these panels down and use them somewhere else. But if I decide to make the orchard bigger and keep pushing and clearing out that way, then we can. So another reason I wanted to do an updated video is we're in the last day of March and everything's going to start greening up here pretty soon. So we're getting into spring, and so I wanted to get some videos of the dormant mesquite trees, and they kind of look dead, but these will be super green and super thick, and will provide lots of shade. So that's one thing I want to show you. One thing we do here on our land is we do not plant any crops, summer crops, spring crops, till the mesquite trees start budding out. My grandpa taught me that he doesn't do his garden till the mesquite trees start budding out, and then that's a safe sign that we won't have another freeze. So let's continue on to the goats and horse pastures. We did corn and squash, tomatoes, cucumbers, all in these first two little plots right here. We got to a slow start last spring, but we ended up getting a lot of vegetables out of it. And then on those two pastures we had a Sudan Sorghum hybrid, and I grew that all summer, and I let it get to its height, and then I just let it dry out for winter silage, and that is what we fed the goats and the horses with all winter. Those two plots, and then we have some plots down below where we'd actually harvest it and dump it in there, and we'll actually post a video about that too. So this year we're probably going to do corn again here. And one lesson we learned is we need a little bit more organic material in here. So we'll rototill all this in with some manure and some compost. And we're going to do corn in here again, and probably squash, overflow cucumbers, whatever else. And then this little patch here is winter rye. So I'm expecting this to start drying out once we get some heat, and then I don't know what I'm going to do here yet, but I've been kind of experimenting with different types of grasses and different plots. And this one where you see the horse trailer in, that was a Sudan sorghum as well, but I let the animals graze that. So it only get about, I gotta let it get up to about 2 feet tall, and then I let the animals graze it almost every day. And that fed them all summer, and we just had to supplement alfalfa. So I don't know if I'm going to till that back up and plant the Sudan sorghum again, or just the Bermuda ended up taking over, because there were some small pieces of Bermuda ended up taking over. Might just leave a Bermuda. And then the far plot we have fescue, and I really like that. That grew pretty dense, and the animals really like to eat that. And then in this middle plot here, hard to see, that was Sudan sorghum hybrid, and that grass got probably in some places 10 feet tall, and we'll plant that again. And I like that stuff because it can plant in poor soil, although our soil is good here. It's just sometimes it lacks a little organic matter, but we're slowly adding that with manure and other stuff we're mixing into the dirt. So we'll see how that goes. our water, this pipe is from the solar well, and it tees off back there, and then it comes this way, and then there's a line that can water all these plots, and then there's a line that waters all those plots. And then the other part of the tee goes down to the pond, and we'll go over there in a little bit. So another video we'll have for you is this trailer. I bought this trailer for $500 from a friend of a friend, and I did an overhaul on it, fixed it all up. I didn't catch any video of it, but I got a bunch of pictures, and so we'll probably do a slideshow of that. But it came out real nice, and then I have these panels I built on the side that can make a corral, and we'll set that up one of these days. So that's a video coming your way. Another video, I think we've already posted it, is of the goat barn. You can see that in there. That was a fun project. Basically a shed, but I can move it. That's what I liked about it. I didn't want a permanent barn yet, because I'm not sure exactly where I want to put a permanent barn. And then with all the different pastures we got, we can just move this around, and the tractor pulls it no problem. So how about we meet the animals? Oh, these are Hattie's animals.
Where's Michael?
Okay, you want to tell them what the names are? Who's this?
Wrangler.
Wrangler? Yeah, he's an old horse, huh?
Yeah, and the boy.
He's an old horse, but he's a good horse, and he's
Yeah,
still healthy.
Boy.
And he eats a lot.
Yeah. Hey, where's Michael?
What goat is that? What's that goat?
That's Mama's goat.
That's Mama's goat?
Yeah.
What's Mama's goat's name?
Chico.
No.
Spike.
No, this is Spike. This big one is Spike. That one's Vader, remember? You say Vader?
Vader.
What about this one right here?
That's different.
Is that Rico?
Yeah, that's this Rico.
Yeah, that's Rico Suave.
And that's my goat.
What's your goat's name?
Chico.
Chico. Yeah, Chico is a free bird. He can hop this fence, so he's kind of a free-ranging goat. And then this little horse here is, what's that horse's name?
Maggie.
That's Maggie. Maggie is just over 2 years old, and she is partially blind in one eye.
And who's our horse?
But doesn't really affect her. It's probably just a little blind spot that she can't see.
Maggie's my horse. Then.
She's your horse? Yeah. She's not going to get much bigger than that. We still have to do a lot of work with her. So another upcoming video is we're going to get a round pin, and do some groundwork with her and get her broke. And I think she'll turn out to be a great kid horse. Okay, this is our chicken run. We got the chicken coop from my wife's sister. Fortunately, they gave us one because that was my biggest fear of starting chickens, was building a coop, and it would cost money. But this one was free, so thank you. Then we decided to build a chicken run, and so we built it on 4x4 posts, treated posts, and 2x4 framing. I had these from the she shed I built a couple years ago. These are the cutoffs, so I ended up using these. Provides a shade, but also keeps the ground less muddy. Got the hardware cloth on, and it seems to be working out good. So we're going in. And the chickens came with the coop.
Taste! 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 Taste is black!
Are you going to tell us all their names, Hattie?
What's the names?
Taste!
Cheese?
Taste keep running away!
Come over here and tell me what their names are.
Wait! Where's Sky? Sky! Wow!
You have a Chase and a Sky. What are the other ones?
Where those names came from?
I have Rocky too.
Rocky, too.
Where's Zuma?
And Zuma.
There goes Zuma again. Hey!
Yeah, we have to come up with a different watering system.
I mean,
Looks
my
like the
Rocky
chicken
died.
Who died?
Rocky, my chicken died.
Rocky, your chicken died. What are the other ones' names?
Mouse. Where's Mouse? Hey, there's Mouse. Whoa! There goes Sky.
So I built a chicken run around this mesquite tree.
Hey, Rocky. Rocky!
Because they can use it as a little perch. But that was a cool idea. And Coop opens this whole side panel opens up, which is a cool design. Makes it really easy to clean out. And then these are the hen boxes right here. And they're producing like 3 or 4 eggs a day. If you look that way, you'll see the house, but you also see our garden. A lot more videos coming up of the garden area. So we're going to use a lot of goat manure in the garden and possibly some biochar and obviously some compost. Alright, so now let's go down below to some pastures. We flood irrigate for the goats and the horses. So eventually one of the near future projects is I'm going to fence off this back half of the property, and then I got to do one fence down in the bottom, and then we'll be able to have the horses out here. The goats can go under barbed wire fences, so they will be put back in the pens, or they will stay in their pen most of the time. The horses will be able to be out here and have all this to graze on. So let's go down there and check it out. Winter rye grass. This has been green all winter. I flood irrigated this about 4 days ago, and then it rained. So you can thank me for the rain. It's like when you want it to rain, go wash your car, and then it'll rain. This plot was a Sudan Sorghum hybrid. It's all harvested. We let it go to silage, and then I'd harvest it dry and take it up in the tractor and feed it to the goats and horses. I did put the rippers down on the box cannon and the tractor and ripped it a little bit. The next little plot over is the Sudan Sorghum, not harvested. So we are still coming down and raking it into the tractor and dumping it into the horse pen and goat pen. I think I'm going to plant fescue in this plot now. Now that we have some organic matter in the soil, I think that fescue is going to grow just great. This one, I might do fescue in this one. You can always do the Sudan Sorghum again. But in the 2 new plots, I'm definitely going to do the Sudan Sorghum hybrid. And then in this first plot, we have Bermuda. And we do have a video, prior video, of us doing that plot. That grew really good, and the horses I think will eat that. The ghosts don't really care much for Bermuda, but the horses will eat that down. All right, let's go check these 2 new plots I got. I got 2 different plots here. I divide them in half just so they'll water. This one's much lower than this one, but with the little dam here in the middle, it fills up real good. I'm gonna do Sudan sorghum here, and then I'll let the horses and goats just kind of graze that. And then a little ways through the summer, I'll just let it grow up and be silage for the winter. Then we'll go over here. On this plot, we got winter rye growing, and then these bald spots you see here had, I did a sample food plot kit. So it had clovers, turnips, all kinds of different stuff. A lot of it grew really tall and grew well, but the javelina decimated it. So we have our little wildlife water down here. And then, so, not sure what I'm going to do in this plot, but I'll probably do this as a winter plot. So I could do the Sudan sorghum here for the summer, and then about September, till it up and probably put a rye grass in, winter rye. And then for the future, there's going to be another 1 or 2 plots over there. I've already started leveling the land over there. And then in the farther future is a pond, and we can take a quick walk over to there and check that out. So this is the future pond. I really don't want this pond in until all the kids are growing up and out, and then out of the house, so it'll be a while. But for now, it's where I get all the field dirt for the whole property. And we basically live in a river bottom, and it is flat, level, and lots of clay. So when it rains, it gets soupy. It dries out quick, but it also gets soupy very quick. So what I've had to do all over the property is raise the roads and pitch them to drain them. And then we do hit some sand and some gravel spots down here, so I was able to put that sand and gravel on the roads, and that has helped out big time. So we've been able to build up all the roads on the property. Any areas we had to build up for something, this is probably where the dirt came from. So we can check this out a little bit more. We are down actually in a river bottom, and every year this floods. So I'm expecting it to do it again this year, but there will be water at about this level right here. And it'll actually run through here. Not enough to erode any of the banks or even wash out the food plots or the pastures yet. But any day we could have that flood that washes them out, but then I just rebuild them again. But anyways, yeah, so I may divert or put up a big berm so that this area won't flood. But for now, it's kind of cool to watch it flood once a year, a couple times a year sometimes. But this will be completely full of water. And like I said, it'll be about this level right here. And then it'll run out back to the main channel of the river. We're just like in a little bowl right here. And this is actually the river at its widest. And so I don't fear of the house getting flooded out, because this is actually the widest. Not even a mile back, it gets to as narrow as 30 feet. And if we've had water this high here at the widest point, I mean, it was probably 30 feet deep over there. But we do get some crazy monsoons and some crazy flash floods down here. So in the monsoon season, we can't even usually come down here. It's just clay mud. It sticks to your boots. All right, I think that's gonna wrap it up for our update, and stay tuned for all these upcoming projects and projects we got going on. And be sure to like, subscribe, and share it to a friend. Thank you.